All right, here we go. And we're on. I'm not late. We got it working.
Really? The best place to science interactive.
It's wearing you out because you're working for your business. It's not working for you. And I know what that feels like. My name is Logan Sneed, the founder of Simplified.
Got to get some stuff sorted, but I think we got it now. I didn't forget too much stuff, just a little bit. We should be going out loud and clear, guys. What do you think?
We're going out, but I didn't need the audio. Let me have a...
Oh, okay.
Let me have a quick...
Yeah, hopefully this stream is going to work better than anyone we've had up to this point. Just simply because I've went and got an Ethernet cable and connected it to the router. And it seems to have improved things considerably, so hopefully no more lagging and stuff. I'll say hello to Alan Evans. Got him on here with me. Judy Bassett also.
Yeah. Blue.
Yeah.
331 down, 334 up megabits per second. That's not shabby.
Beats the heck out of what was going on. That's for sure. Guest audio is wonky, says Mr. Andret. I don't know. Shouldn't be. Should be fine. Sounds fine to me. And I'm listening to what's going on. Oops, say again.
Unless that's just me being not good.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. So who we got out there? 9 o'clock hero, Barry on, Mr. Andret, Real Cygnus. Judy's out there too. Hi, Judy. Gorg, what's going on? C4, Dart, Astrolux, and Sean Hawkins. Good afternoon. There's an echo.
Okay, I shouldn't be echoing anymore. I put my headphones on.
Wait a minute.
It's just that I try and avoid putting my headphones on because it makes my tinnitus worse.
I think I see what might have been happening. Maybe.
Yeah, I should be all right now. So I'll just do the headphone thing. That should cure it.
Yeah, I think I might have been double dipping here.
Yeah, Discord can be a bit funny about it at times anyway, so.
Yeah, I think I had yeah, I think it was hearing you guys through two channels. The way I've got the banana set up, so now that ought to, but I think that's fixed it. I think. If you guys are hearing, say something, Alan, just, I'll be quiet.
I'm sure this is better. Well, it can't be mine because I've now got the headphones on, so that's fine. So, either way, it'll be better.
Yeah, I think it ought to be okay now. I had the source set on OBS to the banana output, which is also got you guys coming through it. So now I've switched OBS over to just the mic for me. It should have isolated it, hopefully. Anyway.
Won't be a screen without a tech issue.
That's right.
Says Mr. Angrat.
Hello, paid NASA Shill. Welcome.
Hey, Boo. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful.
How's life in Tennessee?
Quite nice the last few days. Mild temperatures in the morning. Yeah, a little rain off and on, but not much. I can live with it. And how about you?
Yeah, I live east of you rather, and a little bit south, so it's about the same.
Yeah, it's been pleasantly chilly of the past few mornings. Temperatures down around 45, which will be what, 8 or 9 C, something like that.
Turns out we have a crazy congressman in North Carolina.
How's that?
This is a guy that once again tried to carry an armed handgun onto an airplane. Crawford is his name or something.
What are these?
He represents a district that's almost Tennessee, like right there on the North Carolina-Tennessee border.
Why do these guys do these silly things?
This guy is a real piece of work. So, he's only been there 2 years, and it seems like he's been there forever because he keeps doing dumb stuff.
Astrolux in the chat says, is that fellow Mobius coming or not? Apparently not. I know I sent him 3 invites, and others sent him invites over in Bev's Discord. He asked for the invite, and now he won't join the server. So I don't really know what to say.
You're inviting Bevtards here?
I was going to invite that one. I did invite that one. Said I was afraid to talk to him about LIGO. Well, we'll find out who's afraid to talk. It's not me. Apparently he is.
I love it when the flat earthers originally brought up LIGO to prove that the Earth was flat.
Yeah.
They brought up the sextant to prove that the Earth is flat. I just love when they do this stuff and then have it backfire tremendously on them, and they still don't admit it.
Yeah, every time they get one of their bright ideas, it explodes in their face, doesn't it? That's pretty funny.
I mean, MC's tune still has $10,000 out there for any flat earther that can show how celestial nav works on the flat Earth.
Yeah.
Nobody has claimed it. Somebody's tried. Brian Leakey tried it, but he figured out where he was on the map using
Google Earth. Yeah.
And then tried to back fill it
in. Yeah.
I really
he actually tried to refraction, but in a way that we know refraction doesn't work.
Yeah, he's pulled this on me before, and basically what he does is he figures out where he is, and then he backfills the refraction as necessary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got that.
Sorry, please.
He thinks refraction works bends like light bends 8 inches per mile squared.
Yeah. Can you imagine what we would see just looking out in the distance if light was doing that? My God. You'd think you were in the Carnival House of Mirrors. can't imagine how those guys think of these things.
I was going to say, I really want to work out a way of figuring out how to do that on a flat Earth, because I could really do with 10 grand at the minute, even in US dollars.
What is that, like 7,500 pounds or something?
Yeah.
Well,
It'll be enough to replace the camera. Right, it'll be enough to replace the camera that I've got that's just decided it doesn't want to work anymore.
Well, you can buy a good camera for $10,000.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd be able to actually get a new one rather than something second hand.
I wasn't too far off. It's $8,023 or 823 pounds 10 pence.
Yeah, that would just about do. Be more than enough, thank you.
Well, poor Brian Leakey. Bless his heart. He's trying so hard to explain away all the observations that that we've made.
Yeah. He
Like
does.
I'm not sure if today on Jose's he's gonna go and claiming that it was gonna look different. Now I gotta jump through another hoop and go in the morning when the sun's not shining.
Well, it's like this latest thing with the Kelsey, I think his name is, the 747
Yeah.
pilot.
Yeah.
So now they just flying the route won't be good enough because they're sure that they're gonna fake it. Even if you have like your personal GPS, they're still gonna fake us. Now they want to like raise balloons as beacons or something all over Antarctica.
Right.
And
right.
the problem is getting
Here's my. Go ahead.
Getting these balloons to Antarctica, inflating them at the right time. I don't know what they want the balloon to actually see the airplane go by. I don't know what this is going to prove because Antarctica is just an ice wall anyway, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know why they're going. He's going through the effort to do. There's already Southern Hemisphere flights that happen like pretty much every other day. There's the one from Johannesburg. It happens almost every other day. They can just take that flight.
It still doesn't go.
Oh, it has to go over
the South
Antarctica.
Pole. Yeah.
But I'm saying though, but the distance involved,
right,
and the time would,
Well, that's because of winds. There's these really, really strong winds that blow both ways that they can use. But no, there's to fly from Perth to where they're going in. I think they're going in Argentina. The demand on that route isn't extremely high. There's no reason to fly direct. That's the other thing they don't realize, that only about 12% of the people live south of the equator, and most of those people are either Indonesians or Brazilians. You get outside that, right. Australia's got, I think, 25 million people in it. Last I looked, I forget.
Yeah, they seem to consistently miss the point that airlines are for-profit operations.
Yeah,
they don't just million people. They don't just schedule flights for the hell of it. They'll do what they got to do to get people from one place to the other. But if a direct flight, if they can't fill it up or come close to filling it up, they're not going to do it.
Right.
They don't really care, how they've got to route you around to get you there. It only makes sense if it makes economic sense for the airlines.
Well, there's another guy a couple of years ago that said that the way to prove this to the flat earther was to wait for, I think, the Qantas flight from Australia to, I think it was South Africa, and then you wait for him to take off for like an hour. Then you take off in a smaller, faster jet and fly the flat Earth straight line, unquote, straight line. It's because the Great Circle Route loops on the map.
Right.
So then that would be in a shorter, in quotes, distance. So you should be able to beat them there by about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Barry Allen says in the chat, the airlines don't make it a priority to prove the Earth is round. Oh, no, they don't.
No, they
We
don't.
know the Earth is round.
Well, that's why they fly great circle routes, because they fly the shortest distance between 2 points.
Yep, that's right. You can't tell a lot of difference
Yeah, but
in the distance of a great circle route flying just from just across the U.S. There's a difference, but it's not huge.
Well,
But now when you take that across the Pacific Ocean, yeah, it becomes really huge.
I understand that they're allowing more and more direct flights, as everybody has GPS and they're upgrading the system. It's becoming more common. Yeah, but yeah, there's still, if you're gonna fly like from New York to Miami, you're gonna fly behind somebody else on a jetway.
yeah, the one that goes is QFQ goes from Johannesburg to Sydney. Takes about 11, 12 hours. 10. The most recent one was I think it was like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 hours and 56 minutes. Traveling
Well,
at 489 knots, which is like 500 and something
About
miles
550.
per hour.
550, 575, somewhere in there.
Now, the distance that would be on a flat Earth would take a hell of a lot longer than 10 hours or
Oh, no.
11 hours close.
But there are these really strong winds that blow.
Right, and then for some reason the flight doesn't pick up on that speed. The flight indicators and everything don't pick up on the speed and they show it on the in the data.
Oh, that's another issue.
Yeah, depending on the strength of the jet streams, they may deviate substantially from a great circle route, just to either get into it or stay out of it, depending on which way you're going. There are times,
and then it would have to be. Go ahead, Blue. I'm sorry.
There are times when those jet streams are upwards of 200 miles an hour. Which is great if that's a tailwind. Perfect.
They're at specific altitudes and generally blowing from west to east.
Yeah, it's a fairly narrow little channel of air that's like a little river up there running around.
Yeah, and wouldn't it have to be like a consistent wind in the same direction the whole time?
Yeah.
Well,
fairly consistent.
Kind of were, at least while they're running.
Hey, shout out to Digital Demonic Davros for $5 Australian. If these let's see if I can read this. If these numpty F-knuckles knew how hard keeping something straight is, they would be smarter. Straight lines suck to make in engineering. Sort of true. You kind of got to go out of your way to do it.
I was arguing with some idiot who didn't understand that every measurement you make has an error bar on it.
Oh yeah.
He goes, "Well, I measure precisely." I go, "Well, you use a tape measure that's measured in 1/16 of an inch, maybe 30 seconds. How precise are you really?"
That's right. Now you get down to it, you pull out micrometers and stuff. Or
he's not using micrometers on 2x4s.
Calipers or stuff like that. I use those in woodworking because I'm trying to get it really close. If you're
how close are you getting that stuff? I don't know. I've done that precision of woodworking. How close are you getting?
Oh, it's half a thousandths probably.
Really?
Yeah.
And like dovetails and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're going to see it. If you get a thousandth of an inch gap in there, you'll see it. And the harder the wood, the more difficult it is to make those joints, because if the wood's a little bit soft, it'll compress and fill up the crack, But really exceptionally hard wood is difficult to deal with. That sapele I made Cavendish out of is pretty damned hard.
What did you
be careful with it. Sapele. It's
sapele?
It's an African form of mahogany.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't recognize that.
Yeah, I was
You
trying.
made all that out of mahogany?
Huh? Yeah.
You made all that out of mahogany?
Yeah.
Oh, that's some bucks there.
Yeah,
Mahogany ain't cheap.
Yeah, the cabinet itself. Now the framework, no.
Oh,
The framework, the big framework is just construction sort of lumber. I use southern yellow pine and stuff like that. Yeah.
I thought you were making those 4x4s out of mahogany.
Oh, hell no. No. No, just the case. Just the case. That's
okay,
all.
The case. Like I said, I was looking at those 4x4s going, man, you spent some bucks when you made those out of mahogany.
Well, that case, just the case material was, there's a few $100s there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clickety clack, Alan.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, Cavendish reported that he built his out of mahogany, and I thought, well, if we're going that far, you may as well try to be as true as you can.
Well, you made 2/3 because it's what would fit in your garage, right?
Right. It would just get out of control. I didn't have another 2 feet to spare.
Right.
And it was more to do with the height of it than it was I was right at the limit of what I could fit in there, height-wise. That was the issue I was facing. I didn't think it would hurt anything, and it didn't. It worked fine.
A very practical solution. I only got. I don't have my ceiling's not high enough. Here's what I was trying to find a while ago about flerfs not knowing airplane flight. This is one of my favorites. The Sydney, Santiago, Los Angeles flights. I want to know how on the flat Earth you can fly from Sydney to Santiago in half the time it takes to fly from Sydney to Los Angeles and Los Angeles to Santiago over the same, basically on the flat Earth map over the same route.
Which one is that? Is that QFA 27?
I don't know what these flight numbers are. These are just, if you look on the flat Earth map from Sydney to Santiago, you have to fly right over Los Angeles. But it takes half the time.
I have the Flight Aware app that shows all these flights. I'm just trying to find out which one it was.
Well,
okay, right here. Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, it was QFA 27. Sydney to Santiago.
Yep. It's Sydney, Los Angeles, Santiago triangle. I don't know if anyone. I don't. Qantas probably.
Oh no, that one.
I posted.
This one is a direct flight. This one was like in 2020. They don't do it that often.
Well, they haven't done it since the pandemic because people aren't traveling as much.
It was 11 hours 48 minutes.
That's pretty good. That tailwind.
Heads thinks my Cavendish should only measure 2/3 G. I cheated. I cheated, Heads. I have a G stretcher. I fixed it.
I'm almost tempted to get. My wife would kill me. To get one of these $1,000 Cavendish experiments you can buy from online.
Yeah.
And then get like a $500 vacuum chamber and just do the damn thing in a vacuum live for chemo.
Who cares?
Look, man, you'd be just wasting your time because you already know what's gonna happen.
Right, because they'll find another hoop after that one.
Yeah, hello, Ace Fox and Ernie Matthews and Howard Moore says he's been out flying today, getting a few more hours.
Welcome, Dr. Bob.
Where's Bob? I don't see Bob.
Research flight man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ubiquitous. I'm everywhere, Blue.
Oh, there he is. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Hello, Blue. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I heard a rumor that you were constructing a radio telescope up there.
I'm live streaming it right now.
I dropped in the stream earlier. I think Judy
Oh,
was
did you
there.
see the Meteor Fence?
Well, you were on mute and deafened, and I couldn't talk to you. And I think Judy was away, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. So I watched it for a while.
The cool thing about us, we can find crap in our garage and develop a front scattered radar that can detect meteors from our dog pen.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Is that what you're doing with it?
I'm detecting meteors. I'm using front scatter radar. Using an over-the-horizon radio station on the other side of Lake Michigan, 230 kilometers away. And when a meteor rips through the atmosphere, it ionizes a trail behind it. And although I can't read the radio station directly, the radio waves bounce off that tail, and I get an indication on my screen. So I've been playing with meteors all night, and I just rigged up a radio telescope. I've got it streaming over on my channel right now, but I was told to come over and say hello to Blue.
How many have you seen so far?
You see 5 or 6 at a time generally. The cool thing about it is I tracked the ISS twice today.
Nice.
So you're just
I can confirm that because I was watching
Alan
it
was
live
there
as well.
Alan was watching it with me.
Which channel's it on, Bob?
Right.
Here, I'll stick a link. I'll stick a link up. If you want to stream it real quick, you're welcome to.
Yeah,
we don't
do
all
that.
have to go over there.
I'll do
Is
that.
anybody in the northeast to be able to see when the Chinese space station and the ISS are going to be in the same place?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing that.
That should be a good one.
So Bob, you're just receiving?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the ham radio guys do meteor bounce all the time.
Yeah, they do an Earth bounce. I don't have a ham license, so I can't do that.
Oh, you could get one. Technician license isn't that tough. You're smart enough.
Well, I figured I probably could, but I'll leave the electronics to Blue.
They also do we also do meteor trail bounce.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Right, but you can actually.
Well, that's what I did last night.
Yeah, that's what you can actually transmit that way too and communicate off of the meteor trails.
Yeah, I read about that. It's kind of cool.
Which chat did you
All
put
right,
it in,
Blue.
Bob? Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to try and put this in live chat.
On the YouTube?
No, and on
live
Discord.
chat? Okay, on Discord. Got it.
Yep.
That should be a good project for somebody trying to do a moon bounce.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I just built is called the Itty Bitty Radio Telescope, and it uses a DirecTV dish, and it uses a software-defined radio, and it uses a satellite finder.
Is it on YouTube, Bob?
No.
Oh.
It's on Discord.
Okay. I don't know if I can.
I'm not ready for prime time yet.
I don't know if I can stream it or not.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Like I said, it's your show. I just wanted to stop by and say hi and let you know what I was up to.
Yeah, if I would have to join your channel over there, which will take me out of here.
Yep.
Yeah,
it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Sorry about that. Okay, we tried.
Actually, let me try something.
I was going to say,
Well,
Bob could just
while we're
stream it
thinking.
into here.
Yeah, I guess I was watching it in YouTube or in Discord earlier. Come to think of it.
Yes, I'm marginally annoyed because I have one of the TV dongles, and it's got the wrong chipset in it. It's not a supported one for SDR.
Oh.
Trying to share your screen, Bob?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
I think you'll run into the same issue.
Nope,
No?
I'm doing it. Hang on.
Oh, really?
Oh, we don't see it yet.
Yeah, well, when you go live in here, then maybe I can figure out.
The old fuddy-duddies and their computers.
Yeah. I got to get my grandkids to come help me with it.
We'll get your little 6-year-old over. Damn it! You know how to do this, and I can't.
Oh, that's absolutely the truth. You got the computer issues. Ask a 12-year-old. Yeah.
Damn, I'm good.
Well, that's...
All right. I'll tell you what's going on here. Give me just a second.
You should minimize the Discord screen and then maximize the other screen. Just so we could just see what that one screen you're playing with.
I think you read my mind. That's what I was going to do. And I apologize for this not being full size, Blue.
Mm-hmm. Hang on.
In order to do this, I have to run 2 screens. And when I log on to that computer from this one, I get both screens. But on the right there, you'll see a program called Radio Eyes, which is like Stellarium for radio astronomy. And that green oval up there is where the telescope is pointing, which is at my zenith. And as you see, these bright spots, these are arms of the Milky Way. And we're just passing through one arm of the Milky Way right now at my location. And if you look at the insert, that's the radio. That's the radio telescope. And you'll see that there's a spike at 1420.40575, and there will be a test on that later, which is the 21 centimeter band, which is the hydrogen line. So as we go through the arm of the Milky Way, that hydrogen line lights up. Now the test, the proof's in the pudding. So when this drifts on a little further and gets away from that arm, I want to see if that spike goes away. So this is the itty bitty radio telescope, which is a little project I'm going to do with a video. You make it out of a direct TV dish. Now, that not to be confused with the small radio telescope. And the small radio telescope I just brought up in the back of my truck. It's a 2.3 meter C-band dish, a mesh dish. And that's going to be set pointing at zenith in a big tractor tire, which was Lori's suggestion, by the way. I was going to build a frame and do all this. She says, well, I got 2 tractor tires out there and the tomatoes aren't growing, so why don't you take one of them? And it fits it perfectly. But I got tired of not being able to see anything being in Michigan, you know. So I've got a telescope now. I've got 2 telescopes now that I can actually use when it's cloudy out. So we'll see. Cool crap coming from Bob the Science Guy.
That is cool crap.
That's Catalina Island. That's the background. Oh, you want to see some? You want to see the ISS? Hang on a second.
Yeah. It's CGI. Did you go up and touch it?
No touching the ISS.
It's a little personal, isn't it?
No touching. Hear me?
Yeah.
We're not going to do any of that weird shit today now.
No touchy.
No touching. Okay. By the time Bob gets through explaining what he's doing to us, I'll finally have this fixed. where the people in YouTube can see it. Oh well. Yeah.
I'm not sure I understood the problem. I mean, I went to the screen, I hit share screen, and it showed my screen. Is that what the problem is?
No, the problem is me trying to figure out a way to get it out to YouTube.
Ah, okay.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a series of 4 pictures. This is the first 3. The first one's the ISS rising in the west at about 10 degrees off the horizon. The next 2, it's moving towards the northwest up to about 20 degrees. And then the final one, it's just past north, and you'll see the signal disappeared. The frequency is 102.30 for the radio station I'm bouncing off in Minnewauk, Wisconsin. You see those green vertical dashes? That's the reflection of the ISS.
Anybody else seeing
Green
this?
vertical dashes?
Yes. They're just to the left of the center line there. There's 1, 2, 3 of them. Right about
Okay.
about 102.1. Yeah, there's a big one. Their Doppler shifted slightly.
102.1 real classic rock.
Yeah, we were talking all morning, and I kept thinking to myself, that station frequency seems awfully familiar. Only took me about 2 hours to remember that it was the frequency from my local independent radio station in Norwich.
I've zoomed in on the Discord window, and I may have made it pretty fuzzy for the folks out in YouTube land.
You gotta somehow share that. Well, I don't know how you do it. It would still look kind of fuzzy though.
I don't know how to pop that Discord window out.
All right. Well, this last one is the Meteor Fence. And if you look right above the F in FM, above Minnewauk, you'll see a vertical green line. That's a meteor.
Yeah.
And as pointed out a moment ago, yes, they're Doppler shifted. So that meteor is probably going away from us because it's Doppler shifted to the left. If it was coming towards us, reflecting this 102.3, it would be over to the right. And we saw a lot of them about midway out on the right here. Prime meteor time, you get more meteors between midnight and noon than you get between noon and midnight. And the prime meteor time is between midnight and 6 a.m. Anybody know why?
They come out of a specific place
out into space.
in the sky, right?
Yeah. Do we get more bugs on the windshield or the back window? And what way are we going in orbit? Yeah.
Right.
What way are we going in orbit?
Yep.
We're running into them.
11 different directions, baby.
Well, you also get more meteorites at specific times of the year with meteor showers too.
Yeah, that's notwithstanding the meteor showers.
Right.
Right.
But I would
That's
think
just everyday floating rock.
I would think most of them don't come from the direction of the sun.
No.
You kind of
they're
need
pretty
to be
much
looking the other
random.
way. Yeah.
But in order to hit us on the trailing edge, they have to be going faster than the orbital speed of the Earth, which is about 30 miles a second. Whereas it could be basically passing by and get run into by the Earth on the other side.
Right.
That's why you get more between midnight and 12 noon. But in any event, thanks for letting me share that, Blue.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for sharing it with us, Bob. Let's see, I can shut that off.
Bob's
yeah, there we
still
go.
here? Did he leave?
Huh?
No, I'm here. How you doing?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's going to only logic what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
It's a great proof of the orbit of the Earth.
Yeah.
Tell me exactly why there would be a time differential with meteor strikes on a flat Earth that's motionless. Come on, Lemon. Where are you, man? Where are you when we need you?
Who knows?
Well, last time I saw
When
him, he was hanging out over in Biff's channel.
The dome only flakes off at certain times, and then it comes down and.
We'll have to look into that.
Hey, Bob. You know my solar panels, right? You know how they're track the sun, right?
Yep.
And they track it in 2 axes. They can rotate 360 degrees.
That with the radio. I got to figure out how to do that with the C dish.
Track the sun.
Well, I'd like to have a C dish on a pole that I could have on an Altaz mount.
Oh yeah, to track the sun is easy. You have a differential photosensor, and you point that directly at the sun.
Yeah, but you've got to have the motors to move it. That's what I need.
The dish has a motor to move it up and down, doesn't it? Already?
Nope.
Okay.
Moves up and down by a wrench.
Okay.
And a 20-year-old son.
20-year-old son.
Yeah, I went out there to pick the thing up, not realizing how huge it was. I'm glad I had my son with me. We never would have gotten it.
Well, linear actuator will work for the raising it and lowering it.
Yeah.
And then what you could do is get the mount rigged up on a bearing, like a truck rear end or something. Like you could literally use an old truck rear end as a vertical bearing. And then you can put all the weight on it you want.
Yeah, I'll design something one of these days.
The
telescope mount worked great last night. The big mount, I put the big scope on last night. It works great. So,
yeah.
Well, in any event, I'm going to let Blue get back to his show.
Oh,
sit in the background here.
Oh, we're just having fun, enjoying the conversation, Bob. Yeah, glad to see all you guys here.
Is it okay for us to talk about satellite?
Well, yeah. I don't have necessarily an agenda today of any sort.
Oh, yeah. What's your take on me using a truck rear end for a main bearing to rotate my dish, to rotate my solar, point it in the correct directions?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't work.
It's been working now for a decade.
Well, there you go.
But I think it should also work for his dish. It's much smaller object. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd think so.
You know, 3 of those large 350 watt panels on each of these assemblies. There's a lot of pressure on that bearing when it gets a 50, 60 kilometer an hour wind hits it in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
When the high winds come up, what I do is the machine puts them so that they're facing absolute straight up so that the surface is flat and level. You know, the solar panels themselves.
Yeah.
And then the next thing it does is, of course, it turns it so that it is facing the most narrow way into the wind.
Yeah, you take
And
some of the...
and then it starts following the wind and wind vane in either direction.
Yeah, yeah. Sort of thing we have to do with wind turbines.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of, you know, because there is times when the wind is just too bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what it'll do is it'll put enough current on the swing motor, and it'll trigger it to go right into a level flat mode.
Blue, there's the C dish.
Let me see.
That's the small radio telescope, is not to be confused with the itty-bitty radio telescope.
Oh, wait.
Look at his stream, and you'll see it.
Yeah, I'm getting him back
on
up
the back
here.
of this pickup truck.
Getting him back
Yeah,
up
that
here.
would be easy to mount and support, because that thing looks like it's made of mesh.
It is made of mesh.
So you could go down and get yourself a Excel out of a say an S10 or something like that, and just get someone to make you a.
Well, this is my excuse to get some welding equipment. I'm going to learn
Yeah.
how to weld.
Yeah, all you need is an old truck rear end. You don't even need a rear end really for that. You could actually use a front steering axle even off like a half ton or something like that, or maybe a 3/4 ton. And use it as a main bearing, and then you can send your cables right up through the hole in the middle of that bearing. You'd actually be able to go through the center of it. You'd have a hollow bearing.
Yeah, just
And as
need
for
a
the pitch,
thrust bearing.
huh?
Just need a thrust bearing.
Yeah. But I'm telling him something he can use. It's pre-machined that holds the bearings that would hold that dish until, the end of time. And it is a lot of people are using, front wheel drive, assemblies because you got the hole straight through when you remove the CV shaft. And they can run their wiring up through that hole.
Yeah, there's some pretty simple ways to do it.
Yeah. Then you can use the 5 lug nuts on top to bolt the thing to the bolt the dish to it. So you can actually take it off with the removal of 5 lug nuts, the whole dish, take it down if you had to. That's how I did it. I got a sprocket, drilled 5 holes in it, lined it up with the lugs, put that on the thing as if I was putting on a brake disc. Then I put on a bracket that held in my case solar panels, and that thing used the 5 lug nuts to hold it in place. So she'll take as much force as the wheel on a 1-ton truck.
Yeah, that's that's severe overkill, really. But it's not gonna hurt
But
anything.
it cost me $100.
Yeah.
It cost me $100 and it's pre-machined. All you have to do is know how to weld it to the top of a piece of, in my case, a piece of 4-inch mechanical tubing.
Yeah.
That's what I use for a pole.
Hello, Joe Whip.
Yeah. Just by the way, Bob, don't forget, if you use mechanical tubing or something for your pole, when you bury it down in the concrete, fill the pole up at least level with the ground with concrete. And then drill a hole near the ground so that the water can get out, or you can run a wire up through it. And the reason you want to fill that up level with the ground with concrete is so that the water won't go down in there and freeze and split your concrete. That's one mistake people will make, is they don't make sure the pipe's not hollow when it goes down into the ground. When you put that pipe into that concrete, fill it.
Hey, shout out to John Watson in the chat. 5 pounds. Hello, Drunken Scotsman here. Just listening in. Hello, John. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
We're just chatting. We're just yapping for the sake of yapping.
Yes, we are.
Enjoying what we call friends.
Anybody seen any good derp lately?
I gotta go watch a few of his videos. I haven't watched them in a few weeks.
Who?
Flat Derp. Derp, 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 derp.
Oh, I don't even know who Flat Derp is.
What?
I don't.
Look up Flat Derp YouTube channel.
I'll do
His
that.
videos are all about 1 minute long. You know, some rad area, most of them. And they are literally spoofs or comic strips on flat earthers. And I mean, they are... Oh yeah, we're live. They're hilarious. Try not to swear.
Yeah,
I think we're live, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, we are live. Absolutely.
Good. I'm trying not to... Now, I'm trying to keep conscious of that.
Yeah. Let me see here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can make this work.
Oh, Dr. Bob. Hey, Bob. Flat Moon, I mean. Is he gone? AFK?
Yeah, he stepped away for a second.
Oh, yeah, right. He's like, what the world? And I just happened to right click and check something. And it's like, where's all the red buttons? And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm on your server. Not on Bob's server.
Yeah.
We're used to seeing him right click on anything. I used to see him and just, oh, yeah, right. Wrong server.
Let's see. I'm gonna play a little bit of this and see if you guys are hearing it over there in Discord. Let's see what happens here.
Tell me how the masks work correctly then, please, because I'm really looking.
Y'all hear that?
Oh yeah.
How a mouse works?
Yeah, hang on a second. I'll start it again.
They're powered by cheese and peanut butter, and
Hush.
they're a cat's greatest play toy.
Okay. Hush, hush. Here we go. You'll like this one.
Tell me how the masks work correctly then, please, because I'm really looking 60 miles with my own eyes, and I'm seeing Chicago, okay? And I've seen that with my own eyes. So please tell me how you're having this massive refraction that doesn't exist, and it's bending my
why do you say that refraction doesn't exist? I'm not trying to catch...
No, wait. I didn't say refraction doesn't exist. Refraction does exist. The refraction doesn't exist to the point that you're trying to peep at you.
Okay, well, why do you say...
Say what now, Alan?
I think we're getting a lot of... I think we're hearing that twice.
Stop watching his stream and you'll only hear it properly. Or mute the stream.
Who, me? I've got the stream muted.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do. I only hear it once. I hear it perfectly. It was playing perfectly.
Okay. All right. Well,
So it's got to be something on his end.
We'll go back to it then.
Why do you say
Because
that?
there's no proof of it. Because there's no proof of it. Can you prove it to me that it does that?
Well, again, we're back
Besides
to
the simulation?
proof. We're back to proof, aren't we? I mean, what we can do.
We're talking about reality, though. What we're trying to observe, right? Scientific method, but it also has some observations in it, all right?
Right.
So we're talking about what we can
and that's how we know. And that's how we know. That's how we know how light behaves in different mediums. Because those are things. Hang on. Those are things that we can test in the laboratory, right? We can stick a light in one place and stick material.
Okay, what gas?
Say it again.
Were you guys talking to me?
Nope, I coughed.
Oh, okay. Go on mute then. You and Alan both.
Between it and somewhere else and see how that light behaves. And that's how we know how light refracts in an atmosphere. So we have an atmospheric pressure gradient, which is, I'll be as brief as I can because I know you've heard this before. We have an atmospheric pressure gradient that gets denser as you get closer, and that denser atmosphere makes the light change angle. Usually, well, it makes it change angle so it goes down. A bit like the easy demonstration of this effect is a spoon in a glass of water. And if the glass is half full, you see like a bend in the spoon if you're looking at the whole glass. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Keep talking indefinitely. Your refraction's based on
I do know what you mean when you're saying
right. So that's an effect of refraction where the light that's traveling through the water is traveling it's taking longer than the light that's traveling through the air. It actually travels at the same speed. It takes a longer route, essentially.
No, your refraction
is there any for me then to prove for myself then? Is there anything that you could show me experiment-wise that I know refraction, I understand that, but...
Hello, can I be heard? Hello?
I was hearing you,
Nathan. Fine. Yeah, Jem Panda's lying to you. He's talking about refraction in atmosphere. Atmospheric refraction's mathematical base. It's based on R. We debunked R. They can't measure it to use refraction. He's talking about refraction in light. Talking about spoons in water. That's actual refraction. His terrestrial refraction, which he specifically said, is mathematical only. It's based on R. He hasn't got an R. We debunked it. Can't measure it. Also, Jem Panda said that satellite TV dishes point up at the equator. When have you seen that? Did you just, quote, get it from the internet, picture from the internet, right?
Yeah, correct.
I've been on Jakarta. I used to work with AV equipment and satellite dishes on the equator. They don't point at the sky. Jem's just made that up. Maybe you got a picture from the internet. You're a liar. They don't do that. I've been in Jakarta, fiddling with satellite dishes, Jem. Have you ever done
Careful that music isn't copyrighted.
They don't point up. Point to the horizon.
Well, careful that music isn't copyrighted.
Why did you just make that up, Jem? Did you just get a picture from the internet of a dish pointing upwards? Further to that, somebody pointed out that there's satellites on balloons. So they could be pointing up at the balloons then. Have you proved that they're not? Cat got your tongue, Jem?
Yeah, I think the music bot was playing a recording. I actually thought that you were part of the recording until I saw that you were flashing.
Sure. Jem, you there? Don't seem to be replying. You've made up that crap about satellite dishes pointing up on the equator.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was we were replaying an old video.
Typical.
Yeah, sure. So, how you doing, brother?
Bad. I thought I could get Jem on the ropes. But clearly not.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, that was Nathan arguing with a recording or trying to. Shout out to Jem Panda. That was on Jem's channel the few days back. I thought it was hilarious. I thought you guys would get a kick out of listening to it. So anyway, we're back. You hearing me okay, Alan?
Yes, for some reason it was pushing the audio back through you as well for me. I have no idea why.
Huh. I don't know. The folks out in YouTube land said it was okay.
Yeah, well, everybody else here, I think, was okay, unless they've all disappeared off.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway. Oh, wait, had a super chat. Got to back up a little bit here. Sean Smith for $5. There seems to be quite a bit of density on the flat earth located at that point right between the ears. Sean, I have to agree with you. It definitely seems that way. So where did Chills get out? Well, everybody ran off. I think I made God mad a while ago. I didn't want to stop again to tell him to be quiet. This was played on Jim Panda's channel. I'm not worried about the music. I think it's fine. And all they do for music is just demonetize your, or make you share the monetization. If the algorithm even caught it. But that didn't sound like copyrighted sort of stuff.
Oh, it's amazing what you can get copyright claimed. I got the last post copyright claimed for the melody by Sony BMG.
Really?
Really?
That's no damn good.
No, I know. Nathan says R because refraction is 7/6R. Well, a very, 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 very basic modelling of standard refraction would give you that.
That's right. And it does.
You know,
that's the effect refraction has.
Yeah.
It's the same as if the radius of the Earth became larger.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to know R to work out what the refraction is. It just helps if you want to do it in a really easy way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's a straightforward, simple method of applying refraction. But as you say, that you can do it a much more technical way, like Walter Bislin does in his calculator.
Indeed.
And put in temperature profiles and air densities and all that stuff, and get a better answer, provided you know the information accurately enough. Which you usually don't. But,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so usually around 7/6R is usually around about close enough.
Yeah. MD Fox out there says, any thoughts on Kelsey 47's flight proposal to Flat Earth? You know what he's talking about, Alan?
Yes, I know about Kelsey's.
Yeah.
Thing. I thought we were talking about that a little while ago.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't think.
But yeah.
I don't think anything will come of it, personally. What's he looking?
Because
you got to look. You're looking for $1.5 million. Wow.
Yeah, it's not. It's not cheap to. It's not cheap to. Charter a 747 and fly it from South America to Australia via the South Pole or Antarctica.
Yeah, that's going to be $5,000 a seat. You get about 300 people on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for $5,000 a seat. I don't know any flat earthers that are going to come up with 500, much less 5,000.
Yeah. That doesn't seem an unreasonable cost for a flight of that nature.
No. No, especially I guess the plane would go and come back and bring them back, right? Or is it just one way?
They are literally going to get the deal. The deal seems to be they'll pick you up in Santiago. No, not Santiago. Buenos Aires in Argentina. They take off from Buenos Aires.
Fly to Perth.
And fly to Perth.
Yeah. Okay.
And all that gets you is getting on the plane at Buenos Aires and getting off the plane at Perth. Oh, and an in-flight meal.
Yeah. Okay, so you start with a 747 that probably wasn't in Buenos Aires, and you end up with an airplane that shouldn't be in Perth.
Correct.
So somehow or the other, that's starting to make a lot of sense now. He's got a couple of dead legs there that, or something to get his airplane back in service again.
Yeah. And I don't even know if he would be trying to do it through the company that he works for or not.
I don't think he was.
Because his initial offer was why doesn't one of them that knows how to organise stuff, because they can do the conventions, organise this? And he said if they were to charter it from the company that he works for that does charters, he would try his best to be able to be one of the pilots assigned to the flight.
Yeah.
And I think that's not, that wasn't an unreasonable offer, was it?
No, not at all. Hello, Shaky.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Asher looks out in the chat and wants to know if Mobius is next on the panel. Apparently not.
Ace Fox says in a 3-class config, the 747-400 will hold about 400. In 2-class config, it's about 524.
Okay. Yeah, still a lot of money.
It is.
Still a lot of money. No, they'll never. I don't think they'll ever come anywhere close. I just don't see it happening.
No.
Well, and even if they pull it off, I mean, what do you think those guys are going to say at the end of it? They'll come up with some bullshit excuse.
Oh, no, knowing their luck, even if it is in spring, they'll fly all the way across Antarctica and not spot a damn thing.
Right.
And after that New Zealand flight some years ago, I don't see anybody pulling down low over the Antarctica in a passenger aircraft.
I don't think you would want to be doing that either. I really don't. Not a good idea.
Well, one of the New Zealand airlines used to do charter flights down there, sightseeing flights, where they would let down fairly low so people could actually see Antarctica. And of course, they got it a bit wrong and flew into a mountain.
There's no air traffic control down there helping anybody out.
No, they were not quite where they thought they were, and yeah, didn't end well. Of course, that was pre-GPS.
Yeah, that's been quite some time ago, hasn't it?
Yeah, but
TP Seeker out in the chat says $28,420, $1,487,000 to go. Okay.
Yeah, and 47 days to do it.
Yeah. Oh, they'll make it. Yeah, sure, no problem. Wow. It would be interesting to see them try something like that. But even if they got the money and even if they did the flight, they'll still just come up with their usual bullshit excuses. They'll do the same thing Chemo did to Bioduel about the Cavendish in a vacuum. Exactly the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah, now according to Kimo, we need checkpoints along the route of the flight.
Yeah, how are you going to
pass through? Well, people with balloon apparently will set a balloon. They will have to see from the airplane something.
I wonder if Chemo's ever tried to spot a damn balloon from an aircraft before. I've tried. They're hard to find.
Another thing he said is the traffic control of the country they pass over. What countries? There's one Argentina and one Australia.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, Antarctica, I said.
They might just click Chile as well. Depends on exactly what the route is.
Yeah, well, I predict it'll just never happen.
Nah, no chance. It's too expensive anyway. How did they come so expensive? My wife went to the UK and back, $250. It's about 10 hours flight.
Yeah, but you know, it's a route where the aircraft isn't going to have to, as we were just saying, the aircraft will have to go to Buenos Aires empty, and it will have to leave Perth empty. So you've got two dead legs to pay for as well.
I need to pay for dead legs. Why wouldn't I load those legs then?
because there's rules about chartering aircraft, and you can't just sell tickets. Somebody can charter it, but the charter companies can't just randomly sell tickets. It's complicated, especially if they're not based in either Argentina or Australia.
That's the problem.
Everybody's got to get to, if they're going to go to, everybody's got to go to Buenos Aires. These guys, these flerfs, they don't have the money. This is, even if they raise money for the flight from Buenos Aires to Perth, how are they going to get to Buenos Aires? And then how are they going to get back from Australia? That costs money. We've done it. I know it costs money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what that trip. I don't even want to know that trip to Antarctica cost my wife and I. You don't want to know how much that was. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
But do it again.
Yeah, if you've got the luxury to book many, many months in advance, you can probably find some really cheap tickets round trip like Shaki was talking about. I know you can, but you might have paid $250 for your seat, but you're sitting next to a business guy that paid $2,500 for his.
Yeah. Oh, I hit it. All these buffoons that I watching the Mr. Dave was on the Myth Vision podcast today talking about flat Earth. He had these idiots in the chat room saying you haven't debunked anything and can't take a flight from Australia to South America. It's like, yeah, I know people who flew from Sydney to Santiago and from Wellington to Santiago. It's like, it's like straight, nonstop. Come on.
Yeah.
Can't do it. God.
I think that service is now back on as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I
Because
don't think it's
I
up
can
to
understand them. Sorry, Joe, go on.
I don't think it's up to what it was pre-COVID. It used to be 4 flights a week from Sydney to Santiago.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite that many now, but I think they've resumed the flights.
That's just whatever makes sense. You got to be able to make money doing it.
Absolutely.
Airlines are in business to make a profit. If they can fill up one plane a week, they'll fly one plane a week.
That's it.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, they lose money flying a plane that's got 5 people on it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Those are the ones that have mysterious mechanical issues right at the last minute.
That's.
I've been a victim of that too many times in my life, I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
And it happens.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange. I saw Australia, Qantas has many flights to China, mainly China, but nowhere else.
Yeah, 87% of the world's population lives in the Northern Hemisphere. So don't expect a whole lot of flights.
No, but if there were before 4 flights a week, why wouldn't they have it now?
Well, because of COVID. You can fly to Australia for how long? New Zealand?
Yeah, a year, over a year.
And I'd go to Australia again in a heartbeat, but
yeah,
not right now.
And even 4 flights a week is not very frequent.
Oh, absolutely. Compared to AFK, New York to London to Heathrow, how many flights a day are there?
24 probably.
Yeah, going. You go both ways. There's probably 3 flights a day going London and 3 flights a day well, not just on a particular airline like British Airways. I think there's. And then you have Newark. And you have, American Airlines, and I mean, there's just tons of flights every day.
Yeah.
New York New York to London.
Yeah, you got British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, Delta,
American,
Air France,
United.
Yeah.
I don't know that Air France would go from the UK.
Oh, the UK. Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah.
They certainly go from Paris, but
Hey, I was just thinking about flights out of JFK. I know I've flown Air France.
How many people would really want to fly from Sydney to Santiago? You think about it.
About 4 plane loads a week. That's the
about
answer.
right.
That's the answer.
It used to be about 4 plane loads a week. It's probably about 1 plane load a week now. And of course, if you're that, of course, if you're that desperate, you're still going to go. You can go Sydney, LA, Santiago, which of course are 2 separate flights. And the only people who can't do that, of course, are the people who are not allowed into the USA. So there is going to be a percentage of people, potentially a percentage of people, who want to get from Australia to South America, and for whatever reason can't do a flight via the US anyway.
I remember flying from JFK. There is like a train of airplanes there, and they shooting one up every 1 minute, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
London Heathrow is exactly the same.
Yes, it is.
They get a takeoff every minute and a landing every minute. So there's a movement every 30 seconds from that airport, from about 6 in the morning till about 9 at night.
Well, yeah, the minimum separation is 1 minute.
Hey, nothing like sitting on the tarmac in the plane at Heathrow. The pilot comes on, ladies and gentlemen, you're now number 20 in line for takeoff. Like, okay, wake me up when we take off.
Hell, I sat on the runway or taxiway in Hong Kong one time, so long that they had to go back to the terminal and take on more fuel.
Gee.
Yeah.
I once went on a very nice little sightseeing flight in a de Havilland Dragon Rapide airliner from the 1930s biplane, and we were supposed to get half an hour, and we spent 20 minutes sitting on the taxiway waiting for clearance to take off. That came out of our half an hour because the engines were running.
Well, Alan, you have all the fun. That's all I can say.
And that was at Duxford as well, so a nice historic ex-military airfield to fly from.
Yeah, it's particularly irritating when you're renting an airplane and sitting on the ground waiting on the Spirit to move air traffic control all that time. That Hobbs meter's running. You're not flying, but the engine's running.
Yeah.
So you're just watching the money flow.
Yeah.
I had clients used to say the same thing to me. I was a trial lawyer. Sitting around in court waiting for stuff to happen. It's like, you bill by the hour, don't you? I says, yeah. The longer we sit here, the more money you make. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Meter's always running, baby. That's what I used to tell them.
Hey, what do they want you to do about it?
Well, the only thing they can say is, well, can you reduce your fee? And I'll say, no.
Yeah, that's the wrong question. What you want to know is, will I reduce my fee? The answer is no. Of course I can. I'm not willing to.
It's life. That's why a lot of clients would say, why don't you just bill us a flat fee for each day you're in court? So I'd say sure, and then I would figure out, okay, it's the maximum hours I can be there, and I just say, okay, that's the fee. So either way I got the money.
Oh yeah.
That's what lawyers do, in case anyone wonders. It's a horrible profession.
Socialized puppy out there says, glad to be back in here. My main account is blocked for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody.
See a flerf?
I don't know if anybody got blocked. Well, yeah, there are a few YouTube things that have been blocked. I'll check and find out. Don't know if I can do it now or not.
Sean Smith. Well, planes don't really use fuel anyways.
Well, everybody knows that.
They fly with air. That's
it's compressed air, right?
Compressed air.
Hey, you can't even get compressed air for free.
Free energy.
Right. You need some kind of a machine to compress it.
Yeah. I usually pay the equivalent of about $5 to get my 207 bar, my 12-litre 207 bar tank refilled. Sorry, 9-litre 207 bar tank refilled.
Oh, air tank.
Yeah, dive tank. I don't use it for. I don't use it for breathing for scuba, and I don't even use it for breathing. I use it for charging up the air rifles.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I'm damned if I'm using one of them stirrup pumps. They're flipping hard work.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, Blue, I wanted to come in and mention that meteors are in the news today.
They
this
are.
week. Yeah, Bob mentioned tracking meteors. Actually, meteorites that they've found. All the bases of DNA and RNA have now been found.
Wow.
So they had found, since the 1960s, had found adenine, guanine, cytosine, but no, not and uracil, but they had never found cytosine and thymine until now. So now basically all of the bases for DNA and RNA have been found in meteorites.
So someplace out there, it's all in one piece.
The creationists are not going to like that.
No, of course not.
We've made a lot of advances in space and in human genetics, a lot, just very recently, and it's really cool when they're coming together.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Speaking of meteors, I hope one of these days, they got all these queens on there. Hope they can find some thorazine too, because some of these flerfs need it.
Isn't that the truth? I swear that, Yeah, some of those guys are very disturbing.
And they get angry at the drop of a hat. Don't get that angry like Nathan Oakley does without having some, shall we say, issues.
Yeah. And my 2 cents is you should unlock my main account so I don't have to use the sock account. Hey, any of you guys that are having a problem, send me an email. And let me check and be sure we don't have you blocked for some reason or the other. Occasionally somebody gets particularly obnoxious in my in the YouTube chat or in the comments section. And if they don't shut up after a while, I'll just block them. But I don't ever do that to people I know. I'm sure I wouldn't have done it to my 2 cents. But then again, I may have clicked the wrong button. Never know. So anyway, send me an email.
On a stream sometimes the names can be going past so quickly you can go to click on a name because they're causing trouble.
Yep.
And end up getting the next one or a couple down.
Yeah, it's happened to me before plenty of times.
So yeah, it's an easy enough mistake. A number of times I've almost done it.
Let's see if I can.
My experience watching you, Blue, is you have to get really, you'd have to be really obnoxious for you to block them.
Yeah, I think in general, I tend to let it go on longer than I should.
Such a sweetheart.
No, not at all.
Well, yeah, you give them enough rope to hang themselves with. That's
yeah, exactly.
Some people can't help themselves. I've done stuff moderating Dr. Bob's server, and okay, it's 1 warning, it's 2 warnings, more and you're out, and they can't stop. They can't help themselves.
I know that's crazy when you tell them, point blank, hey, knock it off, or you're gonna get thrown out of here. And they keep doing it.
You get the right click.
Yep.
You get the right click. Goodbye.
Yeah, they just keep doing it. That's me too. Fair warning, buddy. I have once in a while had somebody come in and just say something so profane or obnoxious, an attack on me or somebody else, that I just immediately said, "You're done." You that is not going to work.
I can't wait to see Mr. Free Speech at all costs, Elon Musk buying Twitter. When the people are in Twitter calling him all kinds of names, and see how long it takes them to block them.
Yeah.
Bounce them out of Twitter.
I noticed. Let's see. Oops.
I'm an Elon fan, but he can be a bit of a dick too.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm sharing, but wait a minute. Here's God 420 back. Let me unmute him. There. Now we got him fixed.
I can't understand why the hell I was muted.
Yeah, you were talking over the top of my stream. I know you were worried about
that.
that.
You go.
I know you were worried about that music, but that was a video I was playing from Jim Panda, and I'm real sure that music is fine.
Lit up on my computer.
What
copyright?
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually a
BBC
copyright.
It matches.
It's a BBC one.
Yes.
As well.
And you can have your thing demonetized completely on that. And your channel copyright by BBC for that song. They will hit it. They're pricks.
Yeah, that's actually in the UK. That's such a well-known tune because it was used every week in a kids' TV show from the 50s through to the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, all they'll do is mess with the monetization, so I'm not.
Oh, BBC will still have the video struck down eventually when they catch on to it.
I've never had that happen. I've had copyright strikes from the BBC before.
Okay.
Over music, and all they do is take the monetization. What I'll do is just demonetize the stream.
There's also an option to remove the offending music.
Yeah. Yep. And I can do that too.
That'd be the best idea.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah. I'll just go in and edit the thing and remove the music. No
Sorry about the
deal.
complaint.
No big deal. But anyway, what I'm showing is this is a definition that pops up on over on the juvenile detention server all the time. They love this definition of level, right? They always pull it up from Merriam-Webster because they think it says that level is horizontal. You can imagine who I'm talking about, right?
Questionable education?
No. The problem is if you go down here to that definition, it says level is having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. Gee, I wonder why they never show us that one.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Surprised me that wine in Casablanca. There's gambling and Rick's. I'm shocked.
Earlier today, arguing the difference between flat.
Here are your winnings, sir.
Behind door number 2 is
Sounds like glasses behind door number 2.
Yeah, suddenly your audio was really low for me. God.
Yeah. I forgot. He's God now.
There. Stop watching the stream and
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I had to stop watching the stream.
Now you're back. Oh, I need to stop showing the screen. I already took it down on YouTube. So, and there we go.
No, I meant I was viewing your stream and it messes up my audio. I forgot.
Yeah, I know. I know what you meant.
I had a blonde moment. What?
Yeah, it seems like. Go ahead.
Are there any blondes in here, by the way? I'm just wondering. Bunch of old gray-haired dudes.
We got Judy. I don't know. I don't think Judy's blonde though.
Oh, Judy's not blonde.
No,
Judy, she's not blonde.
See, George is here. Hello, George.
Hello there, big guy.
What's going
on? Just came back to the shop to rest a bit. Been working all day over at the lake house. Trying to finish salvaging what I can.
You about wrapped up with it now?
I figure maybe in a week I'll be done with it. Certainly hope so. It's really getting to be tiring.
Yeah, those that don't know.
I got through the upper level of the house, so that's done with, and now I have to focus on the lower level, which the fire didn't touch, where I've got all my tools and that. So that won't be near as hard. I won't have to try to decide what to keep and what not to keep because nothing was touched by the fire.
Just dirty and water type
Excuse
damage.
me? You had a house fire?
Yeah, I lost my house a while back.
Damn. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. And Con. Poor Con. We go there and he goes and finds all his old favorite spots and lays down in them and that. But he's kind of likes the new place now, the new house in town. He seems to like to sit out on the front porch and watch the school traffic go by. We're real close to the local high school, so he enjoys that. And the other positive is we're about less than a half mile away from the river, and there's a park that butts up against the river that's only about 500 feet from the house, which is good. So the new location, the new house is, I think, going to work out really quite well for us.
Yeah, I've never been through anything like that, and I'm glad.
Have all the benefits of living by water without having to pay the high taxes of living next to the water.
Yeah. Well, and you're still going to have use of that area over there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be helping the new owners out, finishing the dock and doing other things. Plus, I've got a lot of neighbors. You know, I was there for 22 years. So the neighbors will let me use their lake property.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. That works.
Yeah, people on the living on the lake shore are really up in arms right now. Most everybody, their taxes have gone up by almost 100%. I have a friend, the valuation on this house last year was a little over 400,000. This year it's over 800,000.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that'll run the taxes up.
Well, the problem is that they don't understand when they raise their taxes. It actually hurts the community because these guys aren't suddenly got a big increase in income because of that.
Well,
it just becomes more painful for the people in general.
No, not exactly. What's happening is the locals are getting priced out of lake property. I mean, we have big money coming in that's buying up places and just tearing places down and putting up big estates. There's a place further up on the lake called Gold Shores, which when they were first available when I was growing up, everybody was saying, "Jesus, why would anyone want to be building there?" Now those properties are going close to $1 million. And there's houses going up that are priced anywhere from $10 to $20 million.
Well, I'm disappointed. I was so hoping that Mobius would show up over here so that we could have a little talk about LIGO. He asked for an invite to join the server. I think he completely underestimated the response he was going to get. I think Mobius assumed that I would say no.
I was reading that last night. There's something you said about LIGO that I haven't really followed much about LIGO and the layout of the arms, but maybe I'm mistaken. From one of the comments you made is that how did it go? Is that the ends of LIGO are all at the same elevation?
No, that's not me saying that.
Okay. Because, I mean, there's a number of ways you could lay the thing out. One is, let's say you've got the two arms, they're at right angles to one another, and let's say where the arms meet, we'll call that the vertex of the angle, which is 90 degrees.
Yeah, hang on a second and I'll share something. And let me put that on YouTube too.
Here's a question for you. Obviously, we know this thing is basically is flat for all intents and purposes. This LIGO is completely flat, right? It really has got a straight floor compared to, something being level, correct? So one end of this would have to be at a slightly higher elevation than the other, or at least at a slightly higher elevation than the center.
Flat is not the right way to describe it. Straight.
It's straight, right?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of this. I've never been there.
Can you see it on screen now, George?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a Hanford site. This is the one up in Washington State. Hanford, Washington.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's two. One in Hanford, Washington. One in Louisiana.
Yeah.
They're oriented about 90 degrees to each other, roughly. This is the way the one in Hanford, Washington is laid out.
I want to ask you here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Over at the top there, the vertex of the right angle.
Yep.
I'm taking it, what they did is they used that as a reference and shot two straight lines out from there, which are at right angles to one another. So the very ends, which are the lower parts in your diagram, would be so many feet above level with respect to the vertex, because you're shooting out from the vertex two straight lines. Is that the way it works?
Hanford, and we can go, and we'll do that in just a second. At Hanford, let me see, hang on a second. I want to check something else out. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. I'm wanting that one.
What I'm basically saying is that the vertex is the tangent point of the two straight lines. Another way you could do it, of course, is have the middles be the tangent point and shoot the straight line in a foresight and a backsight from that point, and it would be tangent in the middle.
Well, at Hanford,
and that's the way I was reading it.
Yeah, at Hanford, I'm not sure which way it runs, but we'll take a look at the elevations in just a second. But the lowest elevation is the end of one of those arms. It rises 4 feet to the vertex, and then rises another 4 feet to the end of the other arm. That's what Hanford
Okay,
does.
so the attachment point is in the middle then.
Somewhere, yeah.
Okay.
In
Rather than
Livingston,
at the vertex of the angle.
yeah.
So it'd be you take an auto level and you set it in the middle and you do a foresight and a backsight to get your two straight lines rather than setting the auto level at the vertex and shooting out in two different directions. That's the way I thought it was. That it would be like you take an auto level at the vertex and shoot out the two straight lines, which are at right angles to one another. But apparently, it's more like if you had the auto level in the middle and you did a shot out and made a straight line doing a foresight and a backsight.
Shout out to Socialized Puppy out in the chat. 199 pound or euros. And no message. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Let me open up these some of these drawings. I think I can do that. And this is Hanford Civil. Let's see. Let's look at the northeast.
Well, just give me the digested thing without going through all this detail in the drawings. I mean, which way is it? Did they shoot from the vertex out two straight lines, or did they shoot from the middle of the arms?
Well, as I said, one end of one arm I think is the low point. So whichever one this is, this would be at the center, at the vertex. The elevation is 533.66. That's the vertex on that arm. That was northwest. And we have to go down to the other end of the northwest arm, which would be this one. So we were 533.66. And at the end of it, you're at 529.63. Okay.
Wait a minute. These are elevations on the arms?
Yeah, these are the elevations.
Okay, so the vertex was at 533.
You're right.
And now you tell me the end is at around 529.
Right.
So it's lower.
So it's climbing from this end up to that vertex. And now let's go to the north.
Wait a minute.
Or the southwest.
So then that means they're shooting from the ends rather than the vertex.
So the southwest arm. Let me find. That would be this one. Let's see where the end of the that other arm is. Yeah, 537. So as I said, it starts over there. At the end of one of the arms. It climbs. It rises. The elevation rises about 4 feet to the vertex, and then rises an additional 4 feet to the end of the other arm. That's the way that one's laid out. The one in Livingston is different. One of its arms is virtually...
That's counterintuitive to the way I would have thought that it would. I would have thought you'd start at the vertex and just shoot each arm from the vertex. And here it seems like you start at one arm, you shoot towards the vertex, and then you get to the vertex, and then you shoot out the other arm. So you're constantly climbing. I wouldn't have thought that would be the way they do it, but I mean it works.
Yeah, that's
okay. Doing it that way, it's just not the way I would have thought it would have been done.
That's what they chose to do there, but that's not what they did at Livingston. At Livingston.
Well, I'm saying you can do it all kinds of different ways. It's just that it isn't the way I would have thought that it would have been done.
You'd want the method that would move the least amount of dirt.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. You situate it the most preferable way you can to minimize how much the amount of site work that you have to do. Now the Bevtards have laughed their ass off at me for saying that. I don't know what damn fool they've ever worked for that said, "Hey, I've got all the money in the world. Move as much dirt as you'd like." Nobody ever told us that. And I was involved in building probably 50 power plants. And not once did anybody ever say those words. We didn't go shoving dirt around just for the hell of it.
They probably didn't give you an unlimited time either.
No, they didn't.
Well, then again, you gotta, realize the audience that you're talking to. I mean, Bevtards are some of the dumbest people to have ever existed.
Yeah, that's a fact. No, the approach at Livingston was slightly different. They've got one of those arms, which has virtually the same elevation at both ends, and the other arm drops 4 feet. But when you look at the take a look at the site, and I've pulled it up on Google Earth and looked at it. And what you'll find out is that it makes absolutely good sense the way that terrain is down there. The topology is favorable to an arrangement like that.
Yeah.
Blue, you mean not even NASA gave you an unlimited budget to move dirt?
Nope, not even NASA. Not even them.
But of course, if you're a Bevtard, if you're a Bevtard, you want to squander as much money as you can.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But that thing is killing those guys. They absolutely hate it every time LIGO comes
I'm
up.
sure it does, because none of them understand surveying. I mean, they just barely scratch the surface on fundamentals. And they don't get very far on the fundamentals before they start falling flat on their faces.
I have to ask, what do they understand?
Level is horizontal.
What's this deal with the Mobius guy? Is he in that crowd? Because I interacted with him once a while back, and he was telling me you can't have parallel curves. You can't have curves that parallel. And I said, wait a second. What's your name?
Yeah, that sounds
You've never
like
seen a
Mobius.
Mobius strip?
All you have to do is say, look at concentric circles.
Exactly.
The perimeter of concentric circles are parallel. They never touch. They're equidistant apart. That's the definition of parallel.
Yeah, but this guy's name is Mobius. I mean, that's what a Mobius strip. I mean,
I know.
My personal opinion is he actually knew right along, and he's just playing games with you.
Right.
He's just a fan.
I'm not so sure. I thought that at first, but the more I talked to him and the more listening to his questions, the more convinced I became that to accept that he's pretty clueless.
Yep. Well, I knew how clueless he was when he tried to suggest that there's something wrong with the way the LIGO is at Livingston is laid out, because when you get to the center of the arm that has both ends at essentially the same elevation, when you get in the center of that 2.5 mile long arm for 300 feet either side of the center line, it shows the same elevation, but elevation's out to 2 decimal places, right? 63.00 feet. Well, yeah, that's what a damn circle does. There's not a whole lot of change right there at the midpoint. And he could not get that through his head. That the actual predicted change Yeah, in elevation for that part of that curve is measured not in hundredths of a foot, it's a few thousandths of a foot. They just don't get it.
In other words, it's measured in micrometers.
Well, if you want to convert some feet to some meters, yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Well, of course, metric's the best.
Yeah, I like it too.
But no freedom units?
Imperial measurements belong back in 1895.
Freedom units, baby.
Planet should be measuring everything metrically by now.
8 inches, miles.
Yeah.
Oh,
kilometers.
I know that the flat earthers like the imperial system because they love that thing, 8 inches per mile squared. Parabola measurement. But, metric's better.
Yeah, but then you're going to make me have to relearn everything, class. I'm too old for that.
I'm older than you and I learn stuff, sweetie.
I think the UK is probably the worst because we're metric for almost everything, but there's certain things that aren't metric that are still in freedom units.
Like miles, for example.
Well, yeah, exactly. Distances on road signs. Distances on road signs are in freedom units by law.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
well,
you're all
plumbing's weird
confused.
because it's all converted to metric. Well, of course, the problem is that you've got stuff. You've got plumbing that's so old that it really was built to freedom unit standards. And
Like Salisbury.
Well, yeah.
You've got all kinds of wonky measurements in the UK. You don't even weigh yourself in pounds. You talk about stone.
Yeah, stones are fine. That's 14 pounds. That's still freedom unit.
Just remember, you're supposed to not throw those at a glass house.
It's 14 pounds. It's 14 pounds. It's 14 pounds, give or take a couple pebbles here and there.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that metric system does not have. You just move the decimal point.
Oh, you see how the moving the U.S. to the metric system, how well that went in the 70s and 80s, right? Even in the baseball stadiums, they used to put the measurements on the fence for distance in kilometers and feet, or whatever it was. And that lasted about a year and a half. that disappeared. We're going to come back again.
There was something said here just a bit ago that I'd like to correct in the 8 inches per mile squared saying statement of that being a parabola. It is not a parabola. And I'll be doing another video on that explaining why is the 8 inches per mile squared is derived in a coordinate system where vertical or the y-axis is measured from a tangent from the observation point, not from the center of the sphere, like the equation of a sphere, x squared plus y squared plus z squared equals radius squared. The coordinate system on that is reference to the center of the sphere, whereas the 8 inches per mile squared is not. So you can't compare that to the equation of a sphere and say it's a parabola. That's a common misconception. Simon Dan made that mistake. Ask Professor Dave has made that mistake. Almost everybody makes that mistake. They don't look at the coordinate system for which the 8 inches per mile squared was derived.
George, are you taking
Perfectly
issue?
describes 8 inches per mile squared. Perfectly describes the surface of a sphere at any distance.
George, are you taking issue with God? Realize what position that puts you in?
With God.
Yeah, that's who said the 8 inches per mile squared was parabola. That's right from the mouth of God. So look out.
Oh, okay. I'm going to burn in hell anyway. I don't care.
I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about some lightning bolt coming out of the sky.
Capacitor bank. Just hook them up to it. Not bang.
God's got a lot of capacitors and valves up there in heaven.
See, things like that don't concern me because I do not believe in a God. I do not believe in a Satan. There is no heaven. There is no hell. So I fear not.
I think just the definition of parabola will fry Bev's brain because it's a plane curve.
Isn't Bev's brain already fried?
Right, but if you just tell him plane curve and then together, that will have a meltdown.
Oh, I can hear the giggles right now.
That will cause great anxiety in the Bev
Plane curve, they'll accuse you of doublespeak.
Oh yeah, that's what they do anytime they don't understand something. They giggle a lot, and then accuse you of double speaking and make fun of you and stuff.
Well, the thing is that they play games with words. I mean, they don't understand that the terminology, a plane curve, really is meaning a curve in a plane.
Yeah.
What about a square circle?
A square circle? Not the same as squaring a circle.
And not the same as a circled square. Or is it?
No, the Circle K. The Circle K is the best place to park your time machine phone booth.
By TARDIS?
It's excellent, dudes.
I got a TARDIS right in my backyard.
I wonder if Bev understands what it means in mathematics to try to square a circle.
Are you kidding me?
That might cause him a lot of consternation. That's an age-old problem that a lot of people still try to solve, even though it's been proven impossible.
Yeah, that goes back to alchemy.
Bev's still trying to figure out how to pound a square peg into a round hole, so with that.
Just need a bigger hammer.
Or a smaller peg.
A bigger hole.
Any of those three would work, or any combination.
Yeah, I know this. They've not made one single attempt to explain those elevations at LIGO because every one of those arms, the elevation is low in the center of the arm by 1 foot. Exactly what you expect over that distance.
So the center is lower and the ends are higher.
Right. The elevations of this of the elevation at the center is 1 foot lower than the elevation at each end.
Well, they can't even explain what higher means. They'll misconstrue up and down even. You think that sounds ridiculous? Well, it is.
Well, it gets they get fascinated by the simplest of concepts. I think he spent when he was trying to go through the last video I made on LIGO. I think he spent 20 minutes yammering on and on and on about the XYZ coordinate system, as if there's a 12-year-old anywhere on the damn planet that doesn't understand Cartesian coordinates, for God's sakes.
Nathan Thompson can't understand it. Questionable education can't understand it.
Well, okay, I'll revise my statement. Normal 12-year-olds. It is not a problem. Bev seems to think they built LIGO to demonstrate a Cartesian coordinate system. What?
Really? Jesus.
I've got a whole collection of Lego here. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
You have Lego, not LIGO.
Wonder if you catch that.
Yeah, I was afraid that's where you were going.
Hey,
If
Lego
they
my
would have
Lego.
named it Lego, that would have been so cool.
That's an amazing machine.
Well, it's just another amazing machine that flerfs don't understand.
Build Lego out of Lego. Scale model.
You know, the interesting thing is, when they proposed, I forgot the name of the guy that proposed LIGO, way back in the early 70s, I think, when they first started working on it. Essentially said, okay, if we build this thing, it's not going to be able to measure gravitational waves. But if we build it, then we can figure out what we need to do to it to make it detect gravitational waves. And that's literally what happened.
And wasn't it like so sensitive at first that like if a lizard farts on it, it'll detect it, so they had to cover it? Something like that. It's super sensitive.
Oh yeah, it's really sensitive. The one out in Washington, there's a roadway that runs nearby the thing, and they literally can't make any observations during the high traffic periods of the day because it picks up the noise of too much noise from the road.
At Washington, D.C. or Washington State?
Washington State. Hanford, Washington.
I was going to say, if it's Washington, D.C., they'd never be able to take measurements.
Yeah.
So they'd
You ever
have
been
a
on the
problem.
Beltway?
Yeah. So they'd have problems with dump trucks driving by with square wheels.
Yeah. There isn't enough real estate in D.C. to put something that big down.
Well,
Ain't that the truth?
Couldn't be able to afford it even if there was. Not even NASA.
Yeah, they definitely got those things way out in the boondocks, both sites. They're nowhere near anything.
People probably aren't allowed to build there. Am I right?
Huh?
And I said people probably aren't allowed to build there.
Aren't allowed to build there.
Near that place.
Oh, I don't know.
I figured I'd build a facility there to test earthquake ratings on buildings. What do you think?
I don't know why anybody would want to build anything there anyway.
The world's largest shaker table.
Well, I've had some experience with those things. Vibrating
What you do is
screen.
you put a maze on the world's largest shaker table. And then you tell the flat earthers that there's a map in the middle of the maze. That if they can get there, they can get the map, and there's $10,000 in the middle. And then as they start to go into the maze, you turn on the shaker table. Shake them up.
So what else we got going on? Anything?
Nothing other than the NFL draft.
It's about time for that, isn't it?
8 o'clock tonight.
All righty.
Jacksonville will be on the clock at 8 o'clock. As they say.
Well, that'll be interesting. That's what does that take altogether? 2 or 3 days?
Days.
Yeah.
First round will take about 12 hours. Minutes between picks. They usually take all 10 minutes, even the first pick. They give until 8:10 to make the pick, even though they know what the pick is now. You have to do it for TV, so TV can run some, behind the scenes personal stories of this guy or that guy or the other guy, and waste our time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's all theatrics.
Yes, it is.
Well, hell, that's what professional football is all about, anyway.
It's all sports on the professional level. Most of it's theatrics anyway. Look at the soccer players. If someone blows on them, laying on the ground, convulsing like they got hit with a Mack truck.
Yeah, that's a fact.
What time is it there?
You, Cristiano Ronaldo. It's what? It's 6:18.
Yeah, Eastern time.
am.
6:18 Eastern.
There's nobody there that it's just after 4?
No, why would it be just after 4?
Like 4:20.
I'll catch you guys a little later. I'm going to bugger out here to get Con his meal. I see God 420. He used to be Glass Monster, didn't he?
Yeah.
One time in the back.
Everybody keeps changing names. It's so damn confusing. Catch you guys later.
Actually, that other name was actually a temporary name.
Oh.
This was the original name before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just know you from Brandon's channel, where you used to be Glass Monster. Anyway, catch y'all later.
Am I still on that server?
See you, George.
Yeah.
Brandon's server is no longer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, does he ever have another server?
Don't know. Brandon sort of disappeared about, 3/4 of a year ago or so, and nobody's heard from him since.
Well, the server's still there. It's Brandon's Flat Earth server because I'm in there. I don't know who's running it.
Not active, or is it active?
I don't know. I haven't been in there in such a long time, but.
Am I still on it, Joe?
I'll check.
If not, send me an invite. Curious to that one again. I think I used to be on it.
Let's see.
Well, everybody moved from Brandon's server over to Geo's server.
I'm on BattleMod server.
Don't see you, God. See Alan Evans in Blue Marble Science. I don't see God.
Better send me an invite. Or they could just change my name on me over there. You never know.
Yeah, I'm gonna check.
But most of them don't do that. Yeah, just send me an invite. I'll know because they'll say join or join, one or the other.
See who's been in here.
Huh?
Yeah. Last entry was some guy, Fusili Jury, yesterday at 10:26 p.m. Something's going on in there.
Brandon hadn't done a live stream in forever.
Yeah.
The last really good one he did was when he took Bev apart. He really held Bev's feet to the fire about Bev's bullshit test, which isn't a test.
Hey, Joe, don't forget to send me that invite. You were allowed.
Trying to figure out how to do it, Glass. God. Figure it out.
Right click on me, or right click on or invite people.
Yeah, I can't right click.
Oh yeah.
I have to get my my old MacBook Air out for that.
Oh, yeah.
Get around to it.
Well, we've been going for 2 hours and 21 minutes.
There.
I think it's coming
I
up
just put
on
myself.
dinner time for most everybody. It's a little in over the next hour or two, so this might be a fine time to end the YouTube. And of course, you guys can stay in here in the Discord all you want to. But with that, I think I'll say thanks to everybody that showed up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the super chats. And we'll see about doing one tomorrow afternoon. Maybe 3 o'clock or so. I'll put out a notification. So everybody take care. See you later.